Hi, I'm Jenkins, and welcome to week 27 of Reflections. Hope everybody had a fun and safe 4th of July week. I sure did. Maybe too far on the safe end, that is. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. I got some highlights to share. So, I went to the local game store here in town and I entered a casual commander event. I walked away with third place. Now, I'm going to show you guys a photo here, and I should be on the far right. If you can't tell, that's me. So I got a couple free booster packs because I got third place, and it wasn't really so much for me being a threat, really. To be honest, it was more along the lines of I was had such a dysfunctional deck, and I just wasn't so much not a threat that I was just the last person to die or to get out each round. I got second place 3 times. So yeah, but hey, it's a win. Third place is third place. You can't argue with that. Also, this week has been a little bit. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, really. I started out really well. I was working hard through the 4th of July for the most part and keeping up with my spreadsheet, but I did kind of fall off a cliff, and I hate to share this in the highlights. It's kind of a low light, but it's how the week turned out. I'll explain later. I believe I was able to turn it around and get some positive momentum, as well as take away some valuable lessons from what happened and my awareness of how I handled myself. So, with that, let's get into the spreadsheet. So, I was basically okay until Tuesday, the 4th of July. I I was drinking alcohol, a decent bit, I gotta say, and I I never got. Usually, I do my meditations in the morning. Never got around to it, and I do readings always before I go to sleep. I didn't do that either, so that began my downfall here. Wednesday was just a day where I just didn't really do anything really. To be honest, I was just not in the game, and I was completely mentally checked out. And yeah, but come Thursday, I was able to start recovering. I'm really happy with the way I handled myself, in that I didn't let this mess up on Wednesday make me spiral further out of control. I was able to recover quite quickly and not let it screw up the rest of my week. But with that, it overall has been, you know, not the most productive week. My production and everything minutes, they fell off a cliff here. But that's again, the dopamine detox ended. So what I think happened was, I think I became more sensitized to dopamine after doing the week long dopamine fast. From a lot of high stimulating activities. And when I allowed myself to start doing these activities again that I really enjoy, I found that I was not able to keep myself in moderation for a lot of them, and it kind of got out of control. And since I was more sensitive to dopamine, perhaps, I was enjoying them a lot more, and they kind of swept me off my feet. But I think it's good that I'm able to be aware of what's going on here and catch myself in time. So give me a few brownie points for that. But even with that, I want to give myself a 5 out of 10 this week, because 5 out of 10 is 50%, and that's about how much effort I put into this week overall. Because even though I was putting up my numbers here for the rest of the week, for the most part, I could have done a lot better. I was sitting around my apartment looking at my magic cards for like the last 3 days, and yeah, I truth be told, that was a major time sink, and it ate up my days real quick. So yeah, that's what I got to share about that. So let's just do my little copy. Oh wait, there we go. Okay, and we got 8 penalties. Bear with me, guys. All right, there we go. So it looks like we have almost 1,700 points, but I did have about 12 alcoholic drinks this week. So that brings us up to 3,000 total spent. I only have less than 500 points left to spend thanks to alcohol. Yeah. But leveled up to level 38 production somehow. That's not bad. Yeah. All right, so what's next here? We need to come up with a plan because this week was not very good. But last week was good because the dopamine, the dopamine detox, it's really not necessary, I feel. It's just a good way to kind of gamify life. It gives me an objective, it gives me a tighter focus on what I can do, but I don't think it's very sustainable. And I think this week is a perfect example of that because I had restricted myself, I starved myself from the things that I love to do so much for a whole week. And then the second I was able to reintroduce myself to them, I completely lost control of myself and I started indulging immediately. I guess that's just poor self control, but I just think it might be good, to kind of get in the whole dopamine fasting mindset again, except for even a lighter version than I was doing before, sort of. Like kind of make it a goal to not use up all my screen time. Like this week I was a little bit short of it, but I still used a lot more than I had to for sure. And I wanted to say it's interesting. Today, for example, I was not really having a great day until about mid afternoon. I was kind of lollygagging all day, looking at my cards and whatnot, until I decided I need to cook some food, and I was planning this all weekend. I was gonna make a fish food, mahi mahi, and it turned out really good for my standards at least. And while I was cooking, I had a good focus. I was away from all the things that distract me, and I was able to do my dishes, tidy up the kitchen, and then even when I was done eating, I was on such a roll. I decided to clean up my living room too, and now my apartment looks pretty darn good. So that's good momentum right there. It's all about building momentum. Like sometimes it takes just doing one thing, one task, to get yourself started for the day. And I guess I need to start aiming to do that earlier. A lot of times I wait for the end of the day to do my charts, music production, and piano guitar practice. It's like 8 o'clock sometimes at night before I start those three, and it just it gets to be a lot. When they're all piled up together like that. So I want to make sure I'm spacing them out throughout the day wisely. And that's something I did say in the last video is I want to start using a better routine, a schedule, and I have started to do that. I meditate in the morning after I wake up, not right after I wake up. I have to walk around a little bit to make sure I don't fall asleep after I start meditating. So that's been working out really nice, I think. And I also read right before I go to bed, the last 10, 15 minutes before I go to bed at least, I like to read. And then the other three activities, they fall in after I'm done with work. And so far that's been doing it for me. So I think I'm going to keep doing that schedule for now. But again, I don't know when I get off work, so it's kind of hard to put a time slot on, all these other activities. On another note, meditation. I've been doing some research, I guess. I've been looking up some stuff about meditation because I was really getting frustrated, or what's the word, disappointed in my progress when I can't seem to focus. When I'm talking to people, my mind's everywhere but what they're saying, and it takes away from my ability to listen to people. That's just one example. That's where it's really affected me the most probably. But I looked it up, about improving that kind of focus. And I guess it comes down to two meditation types. And I've actually heard about these before. They've been in the Huberman Lab podcast. And it's interoception versus exteroception. And interoception has been what I've been doing with all my meditation practices since day one, and that is focusing on yourself, focusing on your breathing, and identifying thoughts and letting them pass by. It's all focusing inward on yourself. And then there's exteroception, which is placing your focus outside of yourself onto something or someone else. And that is what I have not been doing like ever. So I think I need to start, or I want to start doing this type of meditation and see what kind of changes come about. So starting this week, I'm going to be doing much more of an exteroception focused meditation practice. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure what improvements I'm going to see, but it's going to be a lot more me focusing on objects and focusing on senses, like one sense at a time, and identifying what I can. And we'll see what happens. I'll let you all know how it goes next week. That's all I got for today's show here. Y'all have a good week. Be safe out there. No compromise. Let's go.